Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I am here with my friend J. Scott Campbell, also known as the biggest Avatar fan that I know.
I'm not going to deny it. Let's put it that way.
This is both of our second time coming back from Pandora, and both both showings IMAX 3D.
Yeah, I saw it 2 nights in a row. My first time was last night, so
Back to back.
Yeah.
Was there anything you noticed the second time around that you didn't notice the first time?
Yes, I mean little bits of dialogue. A 3-hour movie you're gonna like. I mean, this movie's so visually dazzling.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of just little. I didn't realize that I don't know, spoiler. There's an item that they can wear that helps them do something, and I didn't realize that it does that at first. I thought it just illuminated, for instance. Little things like that. I'm like, oh, that makes more sense now. And I felt like the narratives were much stronger watching the second time. I appreciate the through line more. Like when you're first watching it, it kind of is just kind of chaos. You're kind of like, not in a bad way, but you don't know what to expect. When you watch it a second time, it'll be like, this was so many characters, so much going on. I actually felt the through line and sort of like the arc felt stronger and more rooted in a good way. I actually really found I liked the relationships of all the characters even more the second time. So I actually think the second time, even though you never get the first viewing, again, that's always its own special thing. I actually felt I enjoyed it more the second time for that reason.
I think I did too, because we were talking about it a little bit as we were walking over here. The first time around, it was very stressful because it's like, you don't know what's going to happen.
You're like, who's going to die?
Who's going to die? What's going to happen to the whales? But this time it's like, okay, you know what to expect. But also, I still felt tension. Like, I didn't feel like I didn't feel like I knew how it was going to play out, even though I knew. To
me, I kind of felt like it's like when you have a favorite ride at a theme park. The first time you're kind of bracing yourself, like, well, where's the drop going to be, that kind of thing. And then when you start to love the ride, you lean into that feeling. And I felt like the second time, I'm leaning into it now. I'm feeling that adrenaline rush, just sort of like it being a thrill ride, because that's what 3D IMAX for this movie is. It's a theme park ride, really. Yeah. I mean, and I say that in the most positive way. I mean, it's a narrative theme park ride.
Yeah. One thing that I've been asked probably the most, because it is opening weekend, is when is the best time to go to the bathroom? And I've been telling everyone, when Nicole Kidman gets up to speak, right? Because first of all, that's not even in 3D. What the hell? It's like it shows the Guardians trailer and the Ant-Man and the Wasp trailer in 3D, and then Nicole Kidman comes out in 2D.
They didn't tell you to take the glasses off of that.
Yeah, so it's like, that's when you go to the bathroom. But this time, so we went to Yard House before we saw this. I had an iced coffee and iced water.
You loaded up.
And what was it? A Pineapple Express, which is like a pineapple mojito.
And then we both started the movie with the Avatar cocktail.
So there was a lot of liquid in me. There was a lot of Way of the Water in me. And I was like, I can't do it. I can't make it 3 hours, right? So there is a point in this movie where they are meeting the water tribe. And if you go within 3 minutes and run back so you don't miss the first underwater scene, I think that's
it. We made it right when they're about to dive in, actually. Yeah, that was a good time.
And then the next best part to go to the bathroom is when the credits start rolling, but not at the beginning, because you want to see all the whales, all the fish. Once it gets to the black screen with the credits, then you're good to go. After the weekend, because when the weekend's gone, that's when it's good to go.
Right.
I'm curious, do you have a favorite character or favorite characters that were introduced in this film?
You know what? I'm gonna embarrass myself right now because I'm so bad at catching names, especially these names and stuff like that. But I love the younger reincarnated or daughter of the Sigourney Weaver character, Kitty, I think is they call her that. I don't know if that's her nickname, but I really like that character, especially because this film, when you see it lays the roots and the seeds for like so much of what I'm imagining the third, and if they do the fourth and fifth one.
Right.
So she seems like a really rich character that you're only getting the tip of the iceberg with her. So I think that, and I just find that all of the faces, it's always fun to pick out sort of like features, and she has really interesting features. Even she looks so different than the rest of them. I'm sure that's an intentional design to kind of create a uniqueness to her. But that's my. Do you have a favorite?
I'm gonna say it's Spider.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of things that we noticed the second time around that we didn't notice the first time, I noticed this the first time.
Oh, right. I know where you're going.
Spider says fuck. Spoiler alert. And David and Scott didn't notice that, so I was mentioning it at Yard House. And then I was doubting myself, because it's like, I'm the only one that heard that.
Yeah.
But then the second time around, we all looked at each other when he said fuck, and I was like, there we go.
Almost like a visual high five. No, I like that character too, because again, of his connection to all the characters.
Right.
he's almost like a central point of conflict and bonding that I think, again, it's only going to unfold further.
Yeah.
And I think that's I mean, I'm still always going to be partial to the first one because of it is what it is, but that's no slight on this one. I just think the thing that's cool about this one is it's now opened up the world so much more. There's so many pathways now. Yeah. And that's super fascinating to try to just imagine where all these paths are going to go.
Because this movie sets a lot of questions in place, like who is Sigourney Weaver's character?
Yeah.
Kitty is what we hope is the name. Who's the daddy, right?
Yeah.
And then there were a couple other questions I had watching this. Oh yeah, at the very end.
Yeah.
Where Natari? There we go. I
do know her.
where she holds Spider by the neck and is like threatening. Okay, what's going to come of that moving forward?
Well, that was another. I don't feel like you get a full. This is a spoiler, by the way, in case you guys haven't figured this out.
That's okay.
So hopefully you've seen it if you're continuing on.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that's really interesting is, she has a bias against him. They kind of established that early on, and it never really seems like it melted away.
Yeah.
Like even that moment felt a little real. Like maybe she might take out Spider.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really interesting conflict too. It's, again, I love how it's this fantasy world, but a lot of the conflicts and the bonds with the family and it is very relatable. I mean, I've been in situations where you're dating somebody and maybe your parents don't approve or that kind of thing, and I kind of feel like the whole Spider Kitty relationship with sort of like Neytiri kind of like not necessarily approving of him intermingling with them and stuff like that. I think that's, and then of course the Spider's own roots and stuff like that, where I feel like that's just going, that conflict's only going to heat up. I feel like in the third. I mean, I'm guessing that's where they're going with that. It's only going to get worse, that sort of tug of war.
Yeah.
And that's very fascinating.
So you saw the original Avatar in theaters 6 times.
6 times on its original run, and then I went back and saw the re-release where they extended the footage, I think 2 more times. And then I just saw it, a month or 2 ago with the. So I mean, it's a ridiculous amount of time, and I can't think of any other movie I've seen twice, well, more than twice in the theater, like in recent memory of that 13 years. So yeah, I easily to say I definitely. But again, we were talking about this. When you see this movie, a lot of movies you go like, oh, it'll be fun to watch that again on streaming. It'll be fun to enjoy that on Blu-ray or back when those were big. Sorry, Rob. But now it's like when you see this movie, just like the first one, I was very self-aware. This is a theme park ride that will go away. You will not be able to be on this theme park ride. When you see it in 3D IMAX, it is the only good 3D experience, I mean, amazing 3D experience that I can think of. So to me, that's the motivation. Oh, I want to go on this theme park ride a few more times.
You'll never see it this way.
Yeah, when you see it on it'll be fine. The narrative and the special effects will still be amazing. But that experience of that 3D and immersiveness.
And the crowd, too, the crowd response. Like
It was fun. We had a good crowd tonight. I think it was even like, we went, like I said, yesterday on a Saturday. And that felt like a good crowd, but it felt like more of a party crowd on a Sunday night, which is kind of
You know what? You can always tell how lit the crowd's going to be based on the Nicole Kidman ad.
Yes,
people recite the lines and cheer. You're like, oh, we're in for a good time.
Yes, it's like a Rocky Horror Picture experience with the Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, but when this does come out on Blu-ray, if Blu-ray still exists by then, or on streaming on Disney Plus, we have to get together and have a party where we take a shot every time someone says bro. Because
there's a lot of bros. Yeah. We were talking about that last night. My daughters are saying a little too many bros and stuff like that, and I get it.
I'm so down for that game.
Yeah, I know. Well, we got to make the blue cocktail drink and make those the shots.
Oh my god, that drink was so good.
Yeah, it was a good drink, guys.
Okay, so Kate Winslet reunites with James Cameron for this movie.
Yeah.
If you could pick anyone that James Cameron has worked with in the past to reunite either for 3, 4, 5, Avatar 11, who would you want, and why is it the iceberg?
you got me on that one. Iceberg wins. Iceberg for the score. I was gonna say Leo, but I can't top Iceberg now. You've stumped me.
So if James, if you're watching this, which I'm sure you are subscribed, if you need help coming up with Avatar 6, you can make it the Island of Icebergs.
Yes.
There we go.
Bravo.
Well, thank you so much for joining me on my channel.
Oh, Taylor, appreciate it.
I feel like we could do this all night. But you know what? I have some sad news. This is my second video on Avatar, which now ties it with 2 videos for Puss in Boots. So, our next movie we're going to see together is going to be Puss in Boots, and we're going to have to film another video to break this tie because I want Puss in Boots to be the #1 topic on this channel.
I hear you. You got to have your pet projects. I'm all for that. So Puss in Boots it is.
Puss in Boots it is.
Yes.